Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation. But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice. I am your host, NesGTO. We're going to get right into this one. We're going to talk a little Tyson Fury. He's back. And, we're opening up the new year, right? So why not, speak a little Tyson Fury and the fact that he's saying he's coming back for 2017. He's already back in training. And we got a lot more details, but I'm going to head on over to the Sunshine State and talk to the good doctor. Boxing MD, what's going on, brother? I know you want to sit in on this. We're going to head on over to the doctor, the Sunshine State. Boxing MD, what's going on?
Is that a fair statement to make? You have to be honest with yourself.
I'm glad to be back, Ness. How's it going? I know we say this every single year that, like the start of the year. So, 2013, it's going to be a great year. 2014 is going to be a great year because sometimes we're disappointed about the year before. And to an extent, 2016 was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best year in boxing, but it was decent. But 2017, if Tyson Fury gets back in the ring, also factoring in a lot of the other developments in the other weight classes, especially the heavyweight class, is going to be an excellent year in boxing.
I mean, you're right. Actually, I think I have to disagree with you. Usually the starts of boxing years are kind of bad, just like the end. Like December and January are always bad months for boxing, but this year it isn't. The first quarter is seriously jam-packed. Like I was just checking the schedule. February has so many big fights, as does January. But we're talking January 2017, and Tyson Fury sent out a nice little, Christmas message to all his fans, me included, obviously being one of his. And he said, "Merry Christmas, guys. I've had a nightmare 2016, done a lot of stuff I'm not proud of, but my promise to you is I will return 2017, take over." And he also went on to congratulate Joseph Parker on winning the title, and he says, "Job well done, pal." Now, for so long, he didn't acknowledge that Parker actually won the title. So I don't know if maybe Tyson is turning a new leaf, kind of showing the world that he's got his, I guess, mental issues sorted out where he can, be the bigger man and kind of congratulate these guys for winning his vacant titles. But he went a step further. And this is where I'm thinking is just trolling at this point, because these two have had a rivalry from the very beginning. So he goes a step further and says, best heavyweight of 2017, bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. So I don't know. I just want to open it up to the phone lines, to the people. You know the number, 1-425-569-5241. What do you think about Tyson Fury, the fact that he's back? His return date now, Boxing MD, is for April. They're looking at a targeted date of April. Now, in this crazy world of boxing, there always exists the double standard. And this is a show where we have to give you every single angle. And in this, I want to note that this news has been out for some days. Obviously, we haven't had the opportunity to touch on it because of the holiday. But now that we are here, I don't hear any backlash for Tyson Fury and the fact that he wants to take a 3 tune-up route before facing Deontay Wilder. Now, it is him who's saying that he wants Deontay Wilder in 2017, but it's the very end of 2017, if not 2018, and it's with 3 tune-ups before that. Now, we all know that the double standard exists. Guys like Garcia can't get a Samuel Vargas before a Keith Thurman, which is essentially a tune-up fight. Guys like Andre Ward can't get, Alexander Brand and Sullivan Barrera, which are tune-up fights in hardcore eyes when Sullivan Barrera just showed what he did. He still is a contender. You know what I'm saying? But those double standards exist. And I just want to put it out there that Tyson Fury, is, in my eyes, still the undisputed, definitely undefeated, and should have a crack at whoever is the legitimate champion whenever he does come back. And it is my policy that if a guy is out of the ring for some time due to injury or whatever, mental issues in this case, and obviously being overweight, we've seen the pictures. He is very overweight right now. Peter Fury, the quotes are that he's just working on cardio right now and hitting the bag because they want to take off that weight. But that being said, I'm okay with the tune-ups. The same way I'm okay with Wilder getting his tune-ups with, Andres Warwick to test the hand out. The same way I'm okay with Kovalev getting his tune-up with Chilemba. It's the way of the business. But MD, what do you think about all this?
Well, the Tyson Fury, I guess, saga situation has a lot of different caveats because I don't think he's as crazy as people think he is. I think a lot of this, the media attention, a lot of the statements, drug usage, even maybe, I think it's a result of him testing positive for nandrolone. And we soon forget this. We're so quick to, not people in general, we're so quick to, I guess, dethrone the legitimacy of Alexander Povetkin. Yet Tyson Fury, we feel bad because he has a drug problem, but he also has a steroid problem. He took an illegal steroid, a performance-enhancing drug that is used of such. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that a talented heavyweight is getting back, but I also think that we have to keep in mind that he's a fucking cheater. Similar to how you talk and we talk about Povetkin. It's not just cocaine problem. He took a steroid and he failed the drug test.
And it's fair to note that he is not registered with the VADA program, but he's probably not ranked at the moment since he officially retired and now is unretired, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, it's like Ness, do you see what I'm saying a little bit? Like, it's like Povetkin didn't plan on retiring. So we're like, yo, like,
what are you saying? What are you saying? This is like some sort of, that was an alibi? Like,
well, whether it was I mean, Chavez example, right? I don't think Julio Cesar Chavez was smoking pot solely and then missed and then failed the drug test. When you take cannabinoids, they overshadow less potent drugs, similar to how other, diuretics sometimes the fat soluble steroid. I don't need to get into it, but the whole point I'm trying to make is that he tested positive for a steroid, and we're not talking about that because we're talking about him doing coke, right? And as boxing fans, we could look at it being like, oh, he tested positive for coke, or he is a performance-enhancing cheater. And I think that we are harsher on the performance-enhancing drugs, right? Is that fair to say?
We are, but let's get back into, I mean, look, that is the reality, but at this point, he's obviously tested positive. He did have some repercussions. When he comes back and he goes for Deontay Wilder like he's planning on doing, he's going to have to sign up for VADA because that is the route that he wants to go after he has his two to three tune-ups. Actually, not 2 to 3. 3 tune-ups is what Peter Fury said. Now, I want to remind everybody why we're talking about Tyson, because he's such a animated and outspoken person. Not too long ago, just December 10th, he tweeted out, all these bums got world belts because of one man, the Gypsy King. Remember that. it's getting embarrassing the amount of bums they'll find. So, you know, this is the kind of guy I want to be. I want him to call you out now. He's never been afraid of Deontay. He came to Brooklyn. He came to the Barclays Center, got in his face, stole his shine. Let me tell you, he might not be the heavyweight that Joshua and Wilder is in terms of knockouts, but he is, you know, he knows how to work the camera for sure.
Yeah, I agree, but nobody was harsher on his performance against Klitschko than you. So keep that in mind, because a lot of these heavyweights are more exciting than him. Now, I wasn't as critical as you were, although I admit the fight was boring. But he doesn't bring what Anthony Joshua has in the ring, which is a physical, I guess, a physical dominance in what he does inside the ring. Tyson Fury is one of the best talkers in boxing, but it just, you know, some of his performances in the ring, he's not a knockout artist, and that's what we like to see in the heavyweight division from a casual perspective. Obviously, that fight, a lot of it was Klitschko keeping his hands in his pocket because the movement obviously was causing him issues. So there's a lot of factors in that.
Definitely. So again, I just want to, you know, quick quote is that Fury understands he will not jump straight into title contention, but rather he will get a few fights under his belt before taking aim at any current champion. Potentially towards the end of 2017 or early 2018, it's believed that WBC Deontay Wilder is the first on Tyson's champions hit list. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see because he's so vocal about Joshua too. He calls him a bodybuilder. You know, he doesn't believe in his legitimacy at all. And both Tyson and Peter can be heard on this interview that everyone is using the quotes from this interview. I wish I knew the name of I'm going to try and find it and at least give them a quick shout out because they did a great interview with Peter Fury, and that's where all these quotes are coming from. You know, and Tyson could be heard in the background. You know, he didn't want to be part of the interview, but he definitely said, like, and you can hear it, that he doesn't believe Joshua would beat, obviously, Vladimir Klitschko. Now, there's actually a lot of veterans, man, champions, former champions that, you know, Lennox Lewis, I believe I read something where he is even saying he doesn't believe that Joshua could pull it off, which is kind of scaring me. I thought Joshua was the easy pick. You know, mostly everyone, you know, is fairly confident when they call in here that Joshua would be getting this win over Vladimir. But then you got guys like, you know, Fury, and I guess Fury could be labeled a hater. Could he be a hater because of what's going on, or, you know, could his comments, you know, do you take his comments with a grain of salt? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, the first thing that came in my mind when he said that Joshua or Wilder is the best fighter of 2016, right? That's what you're saying? The best fighter of 2016. Because there's nothing that he did in the calendar year that would describe that. So, like, that would justify that. In other words, like, his 2 wins were of opponents that we expected to win, especially Chris Arreola. But I think that has to do with him being forgotten in the European scene, especially in the scene in the UK, with Anthony Joshua getting all the hype. So I think it's more of a shot at Joshua, more or less.
And the name of the YouTube channel is Knuckle Up TV, and you can just search it's exclusive John Fury Christmas special. There's both John Fury, Peter Fury, they're on there. And you even hear Tyson. And a very good interview. And good to hear that Tyson is back because the heavyweight division is picking up. I mean, look how much we've been talking about it. There's also another fight out there that, you know, it doesn't necessarily merit its own show, but Travis Kaufman is going to be fighting Amir Mansour. That's a pretty good crossroads fight, to say the least. And, you know, it will at least be fun. Listen, let's open up the phone lines. Let's get to some of these callers out here. Remember, the number is 1-425-569-5241. And if you want to call us internationally free, hit us up on Skype by adding Nestor Gibbs on Skype. I'm going to go out to Skype, actually, and get to Blackface. What's going on, brother? What time is it over there now for you? We started early for you today.
Yeah, respect to everyone listening in the past, present, or future. The time is currently 4:20 in the PM. Yeah, it is kind of early. I get back from work about 4 PM. So this is a nice time for me. I just got back home, seen you doing a show, so I thought I'd call in. I heard about the the Tyson Fury news and stuff. I don't really like the thought of people taking tune-ups, but as long as he strikes a deal to fight Wilder at the end of those tune-ups, I'm okay with that, because I think that's the way the game goes now. I think the days are done when champions would take off a little bit of time and then come back against, top 10 opponents. I think they're all now, as soon as they get a little bit of time off, they want the easy routes. They want guys who are unranked, guys who aren't really coming off good wins before they, two, three tune-up fights before they get the eventual championship bout. I don't really like that method at all. I think it's kind of lame, but that's just the world that we live in today. So that's the way it has to be. I think I'm not sure where Fury mentally. I know he said he's back and stuff, but he just seems like a dodgy character to me, because I haven't really seen any photos of him or anything like that recently. But the last time I saw him, which was about 6 months ago, he was just an overweight slob. He looked terrible. He probably puts butter on both sides of his bread. So he needs to get back in the gym and get back to mentally strong before I start believing him to beat anybody, because I don't think he'll beat Wilder, if I'm honest with me. I don't think Wilder's going to freeze up like Klitschko did. Wilder by name, he's wild by nature. I think he's just going to swing blows, and I don't think those tactics will be able to work, but we'll have to wait and see. So, yeah, that's just a quick call. 2017, the first call of 2017 for me.
And Blackface, before you go, do you think that if Fury was in shape, he would beat Wilder?
No, I don't think he's got. I know that style worked against Klitschko the first time, but I can't see that working against Wilder. Wilder's too wild. He's too he's just too wild to fall for those tricks, if you ask me. Wilder, I think, will just swing blows. He'll just swing wild at him until he fries him with something.
Do you think, though, that the head movement and jab that Spielka used that made it really hard for Wilder to time his overhand right, which obviously is bread and butter? You don't think that would be an issue? I mean, that's what I see Fury giving Wilder issues as well.
Well, yeah, but eventually, like I said, Wilder's he's just got a wild style, and I think eventually he'll get to him. I think Wilder will put it on Fury more than Klitschko did. I think he'll work the tempo faster than Klitschko ever did against Fury. And then it comes to Fury, will Fury be able to, withstand that for 12 rounds, which I don't think he will. I think Wilder will, stop him late or something like that. Oh, yeah, that's my call, man. Two of the most important days in your life is the moment when you were born and then figuring out the reason why.
All right, Blackface, man, thank you for calling in. Like he said,
well, to touch upon that statement, isn't it a lifetime? You have a whole lifetime to figure that reason out, right? So I don't know if it's just a day, but I like the sentiment.
And definitely some coins for being the first call of 2017. And I just want to let everyone know this is not going to be the first show of 2017. We're going to squeeze the life out of MD until he's busy. But we got a bunch more coming. I think we're going to do Knockout of the Year today for sure. We're doing 2016 Knockout of the Year. And then we'll talk some more on what else is to come. Speaking of what's to come, we're going to get on out to these callers. But before we do that, I know that, MD, you've been obviously busy over the holidays, and I'm sure you haven't seen that TBV has released an interview with Deontay Wilder that we did during the appreciation night where, it's so funny that we're talking about Tyson Fury because ironically so was Deontay Wilder at the party where he said he wants to beat both Huey and Tyson. He said he wants to beat Huey to make Tyson, come out of retirement and then get, beat him up as well. Yeah. So it's funny that Tyson on one hand is being nice on Twitter and, here we are being late with this interview, obviously.
But would you say, though, that Fury is the easiest opponent in which a guy that has a name? Obviously not including David Hay or Shannon Briggs.
Is he the easiest opponent? I mean, look.
Because if you look at the other legitimate, either be champions or guys who are up there like Luis Ortiz, I would say that, he's a name, but not that much of a risk comparison to those other guys, right?
I would agree with that. I would, but remember that a lot of guys rate Fury high, and Huey, that is. And it's based off eye tests, you know. He looked okay versus you know, what's this guy's name? Fred Cassie. But I mean, you know, I think we've seen others look better. Let me get to some callers. We're gonna go to your state, Florida, 407. You're up with TBV. Who's this?
Yo, this is Jay from Orlando.
Jay, what's going on, brother? Talk to us.
All right, man. Not so much, man. Definitely interested. Would love to see Tyson Fury get back in there. I think he has like one of the best personalities, but I got to give props to MD for bringing back up that he did get caught with using some kind of steroids, and then he was allowed to fight, and then eventually win the belt. So I don't even know like how that's even possible, like how that's even allowed. So definitely props to MD on bringing that back up, because I totally forgot about that. I only just remember, you know, him having the cocaine use and going through the suicidal thoughts and all the stuff like that. It would be kind of interesting. My question to you guys is, do you think that he'll be able, like, what would he have to show in order to get his boxing license reinstated? Because his boxing license right now is void. So that's my question for you guys.
Well, was he suspended? I don't know. I'm not an expert on the legal ramifications for that, but
he is suspended. I read that this morning.
And then when is the suspension? When is it lifted?
I don't know. That they didn't say.
It was one of those things. It was one of those things where it didn't say. To me, like, India looked like to suspend it like indefinitely. Like they didn't put like a timestamp on it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, listen. Let me just remind you guys that it really doesn't matter if who is it? The BBC, right? Is what they're called.
BBC. That's British.
What is the name of the it's like British Boxing
UKAD.
Well, I don't know. Okay. The point is, if they don't want to give him a license, he could just freaking come to the US like every other immigrant fighter.
Bad on so many levels, but true.
I don't know, Ness. They're
Yo, listen, they gave Margarito a license with that eye. He looks like One Eye Willie and fucking, you know, Captain Jack Black all in one.
Well, that's different than testing positive for a performance-enhancing drug, because the worst that could happen to Margarito is he becomes blind.
No. But let's
and that's his own risk. Let's be clear here that he's suspended for coke, though. He's not suspended for what's the name of it? For the drug that you said. Hit that thumbs up, by the way. This doesn't make any sense. With all the amount of people watching this live, we should at least have those intro on.
Equating the amount of people watching, which means that you like the content, which means we're going to continue to, you know, do more shows. But yeah, the point is he can go somewhere else and get a license. You know that. He can probably go to Ireland or something.
And here's the thing about doing coke as a boxer, like something that, like, it's very odd, is like boxers get a lot of damage to the nose as it is, but doing coke, like, you ever think about that, Ness? But you hear these boxers that test positive for coke, not only breathing through your nose, but, you know, having scar tissue there, and, you know,
you never know. They probably want to get on that coke diet, that Kanye West diet. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
well, there's way better drugs you could take than cocaine to lose weight and athletic.
Listen, I'm gonna get to some other callers here. We got 929. You're up.
Yo.
Yes, sir. Who's this? Too Tough?
Happy New Year, y'all. Yeah, no doubt. Too Tough. Listen, Happy New Year, Ness. Happy New Year, MD. Yeah, that's kind of interesting what you were saying before, MD, about how people like might use drugs like a cocaine or marijuana to mask the fact that they might have been using something else, because the potency of those drugs will weigh more heavily on tests. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the substance. It depends on the amounts, and it's all speculative. You have to look at the exact drug, but I think more than anything that Tyson Fury used his drug addiction story to mask his
the steroid stuff, because like you said, Yukata or whatever they called, tested positive for them, but
it's similar to him getting ahead of the positive test of the cocaine, talking about him being bipolar and having a mental disorder. Like, it's all, I mean, we're talking about celebrities who have PR people They're millionaires.
Yeah, no, there's definitely
Right,
some
right. All
PR
of that
coaching
stuff
going
take
on.
Away from the definitely. I mean, listen, who would he fight coming back anyway? Fury, if he's like suspended by the BBC, like I said, he could just come here, but then that means he would fight.
No, but he's
Kaufman,
no, too tough.
winners.
He's targeting April though. So, I'm sure the suspension will be lifted or he'll go through some sort of hearing by then because they're thinking April. And they're talking three tune-ups,
they
man.
Do
so
like some 6 months.
Yeah, but they're talking 3 tune-ups.
So,
I mean,
anyway.
What the point I'm trying to make is
that if he's doing 3 tune-ups, if he's doing 3 tune-ups, that means Wilder still got to fight this Rizik dude, supposedly want a unification with Joshua, and then he's gonna fight Fury. Is that the plan that Fury thinks is going to go down?
Well, is that you never know what Joshua does next, right? Like I watched an hour and a half interview with Eddie Hearns, and it was still fabulous. I don't care that it was an hour and a half. Shout out to Coogan Cash, is definitely doing his thing over there on iFilm London, and that's a story all in its own. The route that they want to go with Joshua. I'm actually not even going to put that out there. You can go listen to it yourself or wait for us to recap it because that is very interesting. What Hearns is saying, and briefly, I guess the quickest, cheapest synopsis I'll give you is that after making buku dollars with Klitschko, don't expect Joshua not to fight someone else who's gonna make him buku dollars. He's not going backwards, is the bottom line that Eddie Hearns said.
Well, he could fight you and make buku dollars.
No. Listen, we talking 90,000 in the stadium. He ain't talking fighting me and making buku.
Like Wilder.
No,
it's gonna be Wilder, David Hay, those two.
It'll be David Hay. No. But you say that I don't think if Klitschko, if AJ gets by Klitschko, 1 second, if AJ gets by Klitschko, I don't think Eddie Hearn would be stupid enough to put him.
You didn't hear the interview. Please, let's stay on this topic. I'll brief you on that because I'm telling you, it's so good.
Let me make my point and then I'll move on. My point is that I don't think that after he beats Klitschko, that Eddie Hearn would be stupid enough to risk AJ with another dangerous opponent. I think they're going to get an easier opponent like a David Hay or Shannon Briggs or somebody like that. If you think that he's going to fight Klitschko and then fight Wilder and then fight Parker, I mean, is this not boxing?
But wait a minute. Why would you say that? I'm sorry, Too Tough. We're hijacking you. Just go ahead, Too Tough, because I got so much to say.
If he looks good against Klitschko, then Hearn might do it. If he looks, like shaky, beating Klitschko, then I could see Hearn like backing off and saying, "Wait, we're gonna get another fight in there. Maybe David Price or somebody else, like you said, David Hay or something, before he goes for Wilder." But And we got to see how Wilder looks.
Can you name another Eddie Hearn fighter that's fought the 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row? It doesn't happen. And I'm not hating on it because obviously Wilder at his point of his career, not Wilder, AJ at the point of his career has faced good competition. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I hear what you guys are saying. I'm being realistic with that.
Yeah, but you got to understand is your realism isn't necessarily our reality. Like in the world that you live in, you think Joseph Parker is more dangerous than David Hay.
Yeah, I live in the real world. Yeah, fuck yeah, he is.
I don't know. I don't think that a lot of people would agree with you. I mean, Joseph Parker hasn't really done much. David Hay is really proven, and the only suspect loss that he has is the one to Vladimir Klitschko, and everyone practically loses to that version of Vladimir Klitschko. So, what are you basing David Hay being a bum off of? Because he's
not saying that he's a bum. I'm saying that he.
You to say that Joseph Parker is more dangerous than him right now, who hasn't done anything but to calm and fucking who's his last win?
I'm saying
Andy Ruiz, who never stepped up.
Can you tell me the guys that David Hay's beat since Klitschko? Because you go. Calm, ha 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 ha. Ruiz, ha ha ha. You better fucking laugh at his opponent.
You're right. David Hay hasn't been active, but I mean, you are an advocate of eye tests, and now you're gonna tell me that David Hay is fading on the eye test?
Did you not see what's his name? Who's the British guy that got knocked out? David Price. Do you not see David Price's last win?
Nah, I don't think I did.
Yeah, we watched it. I think we talked about watching it just for like.
I just don't remember that.
Oh yeah, exactly. And he looked amazing. But I'm saying is like Ness, like there's levels obviously, and David Haye has not shown that he is a serious contender with who he's fought after the Klitschko loss. So that's where I'm skeptical with it. Shannon Briggs at a time was a great fighter, and you laugh him off now. So it's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they weren't once good fighters. I'm saying right now he's not a threat.
All right. Listen, let me get to some other callers. Going on Skype. Nelta, talk to me. Been a long time, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing all right, man. You know, just enjoying the boxing talk. As for Tyson Fury, I mean, the thing is, all these fighters, none of them are getting fucking really banned, or they're all getting slaps on the wrist for all this bullshit. So, I mean, really, what's the difference by and large? You know, it's like Luis Ortiz goes on fighting. You know, Tyson Fury tests positive for some shit, and you know he goes on fighting. It's really a shame, but I don't know exactly what happened, because I know he was supposedly suing UCAD. That's the people that you were trying to think of, Ness, and the BBB of C is what you were trying to think of, the British Board of Boxing Control.
There you go.
Not the British Broadcasting Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you pay, that the British people pay in their taxes for the television.
There you go.
But
NPR. Ness, you know what NPR is?
Hell no. National something?
All right, never mind.
National Public.
I was trying to give him a proper analogy, but it went above his head, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Way
like
above
PBS. How about PBS?
PBS, exactly.
Public service announcement, right? No, that's the other one. That's PBA.
Public broadcasting.
That was PBA.
The people that own Sesame Street, saying it's like the same shit. They work off of like donations or whatever. Anyway,
what about PBC? No, I'm joking. That was.
That's free.
I wouldn't be surprised if our tax dollars are going for that. You know,
they're donating to us instead. So you know, that's all.
Yo, so talk to us, man. You think that this? First of all, talk to me about these tweets. Was Tyson just trolling, or is he finally, you know, growing up?
I mean, Tyson Fury and growing up in the same sense. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, honestly, I think that his father named him very appropriately, because he is very similar to Mike Tyson. He's very up and down. You never know what he's going to do next, and I think he's going to be like that pretty much until the day he dies. You know, he's going to be like that for the rest of his life.
Noto, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the Rolling Stone article and all the press that he put out, do you think that it is something that's organic, or do you think that it's designed to kind of get sympathy or get like attention away from the fact that he did test positive for a performance-enhancing drug?
I mean, it's entirely possible that it might be just kind of one and the same. The thing is, he loves being in the headlines, whether it's positive or negative. So, I mean, whether it's going to be something that's meant specifically to try and draw attention away from that, I can't necessarily say. I don't think he really thinks that methodically.
Yeah.
He might be an evil genius, criminal mastermind, you know, Hannibal Lecter type shit. But it also might just be the fact that he's crazy as fuck, and you know, he just kind of went off the rails continuously, as he tends to do, and that's all it's about. But yeah, I mean, as far as what you guys were talking about with regards to Huey and Parker and them, though, honestly, I think Huey would body Parker. Parker isn't all that impressive to me. I think that Andy Ruiz probably should have won that fight, and would have, had he thrown the punches, you know, just thrown a few more punches at him, you know, fought him the way that John Molina
that's
fought
his
Terrence
fault.
Crawford. But you know, no, it is. But I mean, honestly, if anybody deserved to win that fight, it was him. He was the better fighter. When I saw that fight, I saw the better fighter lose.
The rounds that, and I will, one second. I will definitely agree that the rounds that Ruiz won were by wider margins.
Hey, now,
Like,
so defend me. Do you agree, or is Joseph Parker right now a better fighter than David Haye right now?
Honestly, to me, I put him on about the same level, because David Haye is really a big question mark. We really don't know what.
But Nelta will. He'll admit that he's harder on Parker. Even if he could be right, you'll admit that you're harder on Parker than most people.
He's fighting fucking barbers, house painters, and fucking amateur bodybuilders and shit. Who the fuck are these guys?
Now, let me get to some other callers, brother. Thank you for calling in. Great call. We're going to 202. I believe this is Marcus in DC. Talk to me.
But then who has Huey Fury fought besides his last win against Fred Cassie?
Happy New Year, Boxing Voice, man. Great start off to the year.
Happy New Year, brother.
Quick thing on what y'all talked about. Same to y'all, man. I think in my new year, I think my new thing is that when MD says, caller, so what do you think about this? I think my response would be, co-host, I think the answer is this. But anyway, something to laugh this morning. Anyway, if Fury comes back, sure, he should be able to get a tune-up. He was out, and Wilder should get a tune-up, obviously. He was injured. I think people have a problem with tune-ups when you fight an entire year. You fight 3 times in a year, and you avoid your mandatory or somebody in the top 3, and you fight 3 tune-ups or 3 people who will be considered tune-ups. That's where people have an issue with the tune-ups. As far as Tyson Fury, I'm going to show you the similarity between him and Billy Joe Saunders. If both of them have taken their next fight after they won the title, they will have become irrelevant again. And so because they didn't take those 2 fights against those 2 opponents, we're still talking about these guys a year later when we know both of them probably are not really the better of the 2 in their division.
You're saying because you're expecting them to lose, right?
I expected Tyson Fury to lose the next time if he fought Vladimir in the rematch, as he was supposed to do. And I think Billy Joe Saunders, the way he got lined up to fight either Golovkin or whomever, he was supposed to fight Golovkin. Golovkin was trying to unify the belt. He would have lost that one. And then they would have become irrelevant because I don't think at that point either one of them could have toppled who would have been.
But even if in the rematch Klitschko knocked Fury out, let's just say Klitschko iced Fury, there would be a trilogy because he comprehensively beat him in the first.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly there would have been a trilogy. But the thing, the matter is that was such a snooze fest, the first fight. I think more people looked at it as Vladimir not letting his hands go than really Tyson Fury showing us that he's a good or great fighter. I didn't gather Tyson Fury as being a great fighter of the Vladimir fight. All I kept saying is, where the hell is Vladimir Klitschko? Did he get old overnight? I don't think Fury showed me anything that he can't lose to Wilder. I'm not sold on Parker, but I don't think he can be Wilder. I think Wilder's the better of the bunch. And I think Fury's been spending this money from his fight. And I think Fury knows the only way to stay relevant and probably still make money is to still drop the people, hey, for real, I'm the real champion. Nobody took the title from me. And then there'll always be people who will listen to that, and then there'll always be people who cajole him. So the fact of the matter is he's irrelevant. If after he fights his tune-up, he definitely can't beat Anthony Joshua. He definitely can't beat Wilder. So I don't know. So other than that, I mean, it'd be good to get him back. He is a showman. But he and Billy Joe, when they take the fight they're supposed to take, they're gonna get their ass.
I personally, good call, but I personally just feel that the comparison between Fury and Billy Joe Saunders is disrespectful to Fury because he fought his Golovkin. He fought the Golovkin, and that was Klitschko. Klitschko was the feared guy that wasn't beat, that was knocking out almost everybody.
I don't know about feared. Everybody was lining up to fight Klitschko. Everybody wanted their shot. I mean, you had guys like Manuel Char happy to get a shot. Let's get to the rest of these callers.
I don't
go ahead and
because he pays his opponents, but he's feared in the sense that he's winning for fucking 12 years, but whatever.
Definitely winning. We can't argue that. For let's get out to 214. I believe this is Texas. Talk to me.
Hey, what it do, man? It's IOTBA calling from Dallas, Texas.
What's going on? IOTBA from the Facebook?
Yeah, it's me, man.
What's going on, brother? It's been a long time, man.
Everybody on the Boxing Voice. Yeah, it's been a long time. I want to get to where y'all was talking about tune-up fights earlier, like Tyson Fury coming back, taking tune-up fights. Now, in his case, I do understand him taking them tune-up fights, him coming off the drug, say he have a drug problem and having mental issues. It's 2 times I condone it when you having problems like that and when you were injured. But with these fighters who are champions today, this is setting a bad mark in boxing, in my opinion, for these champions who are not injured and who are not having no mental issues to take these tune-up fights.
I definitely see your point, but we're kind of in a world where they're going to do it anyway. Like a guy like Fury is so popular that his tune-up fight on his comeback trail or journey will sell.
No, I have no problem with Tyson Fury getting tune-up fights. He'd been out of boxing for a minute. It was well noted that he had drug problems, and there was cases where he had mental issues, talking suicidal thoughts. I'm talking about these champions and how it's setting the mark in boxing. Oh, if you were champion, I could face the 40-some third-ranked opponent in the world for a tune-up instead of me being a champion, face a person who is really a capable opponent for a champion to face. This is my problem with boxing, Miss. You know, I understand you bringing the fighters up. You're supposed to bring your fighter up the right way. But I understand, but you got to take your hands off your fighter when he becomes champion, because you got to believe in your fighter that what you brought him up from the amateurs to the pro ranks to getting him that belt, that it's no more cherry picking and doing stuff like a lot of these fighters are doing today, in my opinion.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Generally,
yeah. Do you think someone like Erickson Lubin's being brought up properly? Because he's expected to win in all of his fights, heavily favored. But do you think that you could call that smart matchmaking for a future superstar? Potential superstar.
Of course that is smart matchmaking. Like, of course that is great and smart matchmaking for Eric Lubinson, because he's not a champion yet. Like I say, when you got a young fighter like him who's got the abilities to be one of the best fighters at that division, you bring him up the right way. But when they become champion, you know, you take that reins off of them when you cherry picking this fighter and cherry picking that fighter. That is what's distorting the game of boxing, in my opinion.
Yep. And one last thing before we go on to another caller. So based on that, then, are you okay with the fight the number one guy, then get an easier fight, then fight the, like, in other words, every other one? Is that okay? Is that a level of expectation that you'd be okay with in today's world? Because this is not 1926 where a guy would fight 3 weekends in a row, obviously.
Hey man, listen, it's about the best fighting the best. And like when you get that crown, that championship, they're saying that you are the best. So that's what I don't like about boxing, because when you was champion, prove that you was the best. Like a guy like Errol Spence, where I'm from, in Dallas, Texas. Everybody around the world is saying that this dude is the truth. But then you have fighters like Danny Garcia fight a dude like Samuel Vargas, who Errol Spence knocked out last year. But then in the same sense, Danny Garcia say Errol Spence needs to get a couple of more fights, and so on and so on. And then you got guys like Andre Berto, who says Spence needs to still prove himself, when in 2016, Spence had the biggest numbers on TV. I just don't get it. And before I go, I want to know how y'all feel about, because the 147-pound division is the richest division in boxing to me. And for all them guys to be saying the same thing about Errol Spence when everybody around the world is talking about Errol Spence, what is y'all thoughts on that?
Well, I don't disagree. I have the same opinion about Samuel Vargas. Obviously, I've been animated about that. I think it's a financial cushion before he faces a guy who I expect him to lose to, in Keith Thurman. But in Errol Spence, right now, I put the blame on Kell Brook, because Kell Brook, he put himself in the position to get that shot at Kell Brook. And there should be no step-aside money taken. Kell Brook is a big name. He's a big British name, and he's a big worldwide name, and he's a big threat. I think Kell Brook should give him that shot, because he did his job by putting himself in a mandatory position. So right now, it's just Kell Brook who you have to focus your frustration, if another boxer right now. I think that's the guy.
Yeah, I think the people try to direct their frustrations at Errol Spence not getting an opportunity, at the rest of the 147-pound division. You know, guys like Thurman and Garcia and, you know, anybody else, right? But that's just not the way that it works, you know, especially when you're a dangerous fighter. You have to, you know, force yourself the way that Gennady did, right? Like, how many times did that WBA champion vacate the title? I think that probably Daniel Jacobs is one of the first guys not to vacate. You know, Sturm had vacated that. I believe Endam vacated that. Like, it's plenty of people that didn't want problems with Gennady, and it's the same situation with Errol Spence. So what you do is you do as Gennady did. You align yourself with a sanctioning body and you fight and you fight and you fight. So now his manager did his part, and we're totally off fucking topic, but his manager did his part. He fed him up to Algieri. You know, that's a big enough name, a guy that was in a pay-per-view. You can't ask Al Heyman to do more. He gave him Algieri and he put him on after the Olympics, all right? So that's big enough. And like MD said, Kell Brook's name and stardom is big enough, especially after the Gennady fight, where if you're Al Heyman and Earl Spence, you don't go anywhere else. Why?
Yep.
That's a big fight for you.
Yeah, and to finish up this thought, I think that there's two ways that you could get to fight somebody. There's two ways. Obviously, there's subcategories in these ways, especially in the other one. But you could either put yourself in a belt position, which is what Errol Spence did, or you need to provide the finances to get someone in a ring. And that is a lot of different aspects. You know, whether you talk the shit or et cetera, et cetera.
That's how Canelo got his Mayweather shot. Not because he was deserving in terms of, you know.
He provided the financial incentive. I mean, the same thing with Cotto. I mean, all of these guys, you know.
Listen, let's get to these callers. Jeez Louise, these phone lines are lit. We got more shows coming, guys, so don't get mad. I think we're going to Joey here. Talk to me.
Yo, what's up, Ness? I'm just driving down these Indiana roads, man, heading back home. Real quick, on Tyson Fury, man, my biggest thing is, I got a couple things. I don't know if he's got it in him anymore to be that champ. I think, most importantly, as a boxing fan, you know, I'm just more concerned with his medical health. I mean, is he going to get medically cleared, especially with these, you know, talking about suicidal thoughts and the mental health? I mean, I know that the talks and the tweets and the interviews sound all good when he's calling these guys bums and he wants to come back and get his belt, but we've seen it before in the past, man. When fighters reach that top, and you know, that was his World Series, his Super Bowl when he beat Klitschko and he got those belts. And now you're talking about you got to start all within a year. You got to start all over, 3 tune-ups, and then these fighters are getting better. Wilder, Joshua, these heavyweights are way better. So I don't know if he's got that dog in him anymore. You know, besides just being a showsman and being a character. I mean, but at the end of the day, man, I would hate for him to really get like knocked out cold and just really go into depression. We've seen what happened, what's been going on with the Ricky Hatton stories and stuff. So as a boxing fan, I'm you know, a little more sentimental towards that mental health of these guys. You know, I would like to see him back if he's healthy and medically cleared, mentally cleared as well. But you know, it's fun and games, man, until somebody gets really hurt, you know. So, but if he comes back, man, more power to him. I just pray that he's healthy to do it, you know, and he's mentally more than anything. You know, we would hate for him to snap in the ring and go crazy in the ring. That's a big dude, man. So, but that's just my call, Ness, and you know, it's a good topic, man. And Happy New Year's to you guys too, indeed, and that's.
Happy New Year's, Joey, man. Thanks for calling in. For everybody that don't know, that's Joey from Indiana.
Thanks for calling in, Joey.
Yeah. Let's get out to 312. No producer. You're live on TBV in the morning. Who's this?
Yo, it's Fight Doctor in the house on Rick James status as always. What's going on, gentlemen?
Fight Doctor, what's up, brother? This is your division, my man. It used to be anyway when you weren't so you know, consistently wanting to debate other.
Yo, are you in the heavyweight division right now, Fight Doctor? Or are you slimmer?
I'm between cruiserweight and heavyweight.
Nice, nice.
I'm just in the heavyweight division. Just in. I'm about 5-6 pounds into the heavyweight division.
But a good training camp, you can get down to 175, right?
Get down to light heavyweight.
Good training camp, you can get down to 175.
Get down to light heavyweight.
Yeah, I hear that.
One good training camp, and I would get down to 175. Maybe 2 good training camps. I don't know. I like Mexican food too much.
Doctor, you just burned up a minute.
Said that, listen.
You've been using the jab for that whole first minute of the round.
Yo, the doctors are talking about health. Come on, man.
Listen, Joseph Parker, okay? Listen, I'm gonna end the debate between him and David Haye by saying this. Andy Ruiz does not go 12 rounds with David Haye. Okay? Period. End of story. All right, how is it that the Pillsbury Doughboy can go 12 rounds with you, okay, and you're in the same league as a David Haye? Okay, listen, David Haye has a decision over what's the 7-foot guy? What's his name? Nikolai Valuev.
Yes.
Okay, who in the hell has Joseph Parker ever beaten?
But fight doctor.
Pillsbury Doughboy Ruiz.
But I'm talking about right now. I agree. David Haye in his prime, he looked like the heavyweight to beat Klitschko. A lot of people were picking him to beat Klitschko. He has some good wins at the heavyweight division, but since his return, he hasn't looked the same. That's where I'm coming from, the disparity, not where they were at their peaks.
Okay, listen, that's fine and dandy. However, at the same time, you can't discredit what the man has done, and the man has only lost to Klitschko in the heavyweight division. So my question is, how is it that beating Pillsbury Doughboy, Andy Ruiz, all of a sudden puts you on the same level as a guy who's proven as David Haye?
Because Andy Ruiz would be one of the better wins that Fury had, even in his prime. He is fat, but he is a good boxer. And you watch a lot of boxing, and you cannot tell me Andy Ruiz is a bum.
Wait, stop. Wait, please stop. Stop with this foolishness. Listen, Boxing MD, you need to stay out of the pharmaceuticals, okay? Stay out of the pharmaceuticals. Stop smoking the crack, all right? Andy Ruiz is nothing. He has done nothing, okay? Unless you mean, listen, the only thing noteworthy Andy Ruiz has ever done is rape a taco stand. And that's it. Okay, so let's look.
He pays. There's consent, so there's no rape involved. Continue.
Yo, fight doctor. That is your time though, man. I told you, you spent a minute of your call throwing the jab instead of going for the knockout. This is the heavyweight division, man. We're going long distance caller. Talk to us. Sir?
Hello, hi.
Hello, hi. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Montreal. This is Hervey. How are you?
Hervey.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year. Hervey, you know you could call us on Skype for free, right?
Exactly, but I'm calling from Hangout, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay, cool. So, Herbie, you know the topic, right?
Exactly. Tyson Fury. Well, let's start with this. I think he's coming back for the wrong reasons. Pretty much for the money. He already, reached his goal, which is become a unified world champion.
How could you say that fighting for money as a major factor is the bad reasons, though? Because if you ask a lot of boxers themselves, that is why they fight, because that is their job. And a lot of them don't necessarily have the skills outside boxing to put food on the table. So I wouldn't say it's the wrong reason. And, that's not that simplistic, I think.
The wrong reason because before the motivation wasn't only money. It was money, fame, and attaining a goal. But now that he attained his goal and he had a mental breakdown, it's good to have the tune-up fight. But three seems to be a lot to me, and it seems to me like with time, he might actually have another breakdown. That's the way I see it.
But what are you basing this future breakdown off? I mean, you got to give the guy a chance if if he's trying to get his life back together. What are we basing this immediate second breakdown that hasn't even happened to?
And you also don't know that a motivating factor for him could be that they all forgot me and they should remember me, which is the same motivating factor that you described, which is to get him at the top. So I think that it's a little
one of the main reason he had a breakdown was definitely because of the British media, the British public not embracing his victory.
I agree with that.
Recognized, and he had someone else. Exactly, he had someone else, Anthony Joshua, who had the bigger recognition. And one of the facts that he wasn't recognized was, the controversial statement that he seems to make every time. So that's why I see the breakdown coming from, because he might actually have the same thing. He might, fall into the trap of saying the same kind of things that gets him in trouble.
Yes, and listen, I do have a problem with that. I have a problem with how the British media treated him, because I'm one to believe strongly that boxers shouldn't necessarily be role models unless they want to take on that role. So I think that the British, I don't know what it's called, the virtue signaling to another boxer and what he cannot say, I think is takes away from the sport. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like what happened there, but your case gets diluted when you test positive for steroids and cocaine. So it makes people like me who would defend anything Tyson Fury said, because I'm a big advocate of free speech, takes it a little harder because of, the actual things that he did. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, free speech, I can agree with that. But at the same time, when you're a high-profile personality, there are certain things that you have to be mindful of, because not only that you have a public to listen to you, but also you have people that you're hurting with your comments.
Who is you hurting with the comments, though?
Big.
It's a money thing. Like, that's what I think.
Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Yeah.
That is your 3 minutes. MD.
We always talk about this. I don't mind if a fighter says something that's offensive. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's part of boxing, man. I mean, how many offensive things take place in WWE? Jeez Louise.
Well, and it's different over there because, I forgot, it was like I was rewatching like a UFC fighter or whatever. I know it's whatever. It's a point. And they had a network over there that Conor McGregor dropped a few F words. He said fuck a few times. And below the screen, they had to say, we apologize for any foul or offensive language, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you just watched two guys fight in a fucking cage. Grow up. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, whatever. But we can continue.
All right. Let me get to my mastermind. Dre, talk to me.
Good afternoon, everybody, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Realistically, this is a question to you, MD and Ness. Who promotes Fury? Does he promote himself? Like who?
No, Mick Hennessy.
All right. So with his, what is his level over for as far as like getting certain fighters to fight Fury? Like, does he have like leverage like Eddie Hearns or somebody to line up these three potential tune-up fights? Because things could change in the boxing scene very fast over the year. That might derail his plan. So who do you see?
No. They can do it. Remember, I mean, these are the same people that got Fury two Chisora fights. I mean, they got Chisora when Chisora was undefeated for Fury.
Mm-hmm. And so the bigger question really is, how is this promoter manager going to get this guy to get people to like him over in London? Because realistically, heavyweight boxing right now is over in the UK. And the thing is you have to get the fans in that country back on Fury's side, because these guys are really about morals, like MD said.
But Dre,
yeah,
you know what's the fastest way to get the UK fans to love him again?
Knock out a motherfucker.
Knock somebody out in America.
True.
Bring an American. Bring a Dominic Brazil, right? Bring a common. Yeah. Since he has so much, I'm gonna say, hatred is a strong word. So I'm gonna say, since he has so much things against Joshua, beat up a common opponent.
Come to the state.
Yeah, and listen, Ness, I think a lot of the British fans who were offended by what he said won't not be offended if he knocks a guy out. But look what Floyd Mayweather. 50% of people wanted to see him win, and 50% of people wanted to see him get knocked the fuck out. So it's not a bad thing.
So ultimately, you think he needs to come to the States and just put on a good show?
Well, I don't even think he needs to come to the States. I think his name is big enough where he could get an Amir Mansour or a Travis Kaufman or Dominic Brazil or Arthur Spielka over on a plane ASAP. Why not?
Nope. I don't think those names are big enough. I think for what you're describing, he needs Wilder.
Listen to me. Are you kidding me? Fucking Joshua.
He was the king of the world. If he beats Wilder, he's again the king.
Yes, it doesn't matter. But remember, what we're doing is it's a smear campaign. We're trying to clear his name. So you get him to beat up a few Americans so his countrymen have to back him. Don't you get it?
Yeah, you got a valid point. I mean, you guys take.
I disagree, because I think a lot of if you're offended by what he said before, you're not going to not be offended by what he said.
Of course you are, because you're not going to fucking cross him and deal with the American. You're not going to side with the American. There are going to be some people that'll be like, yeah, there are going to some people that want to see him lose.
How many non-Mexican Americans wanted to see a Mexican knockout? How many non-Mexican Americans wanted to see a Mexican and Marquez knock out Floyd? I'm sure there were tons. I was a little young to analyze what the developments were for that. But does that make sense, Ness?
Sure, Mexican fans wanted to see Marquez knock out Floyd. Of course.
I just said how many non-Mexican American fans wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, there were some because Floyd has his he has his hate. He's got his hate from all over.
Yeah, there's tons of, and think about how many people wanted.
But it's different.
Think about how many. No, it's not different.
It is different because Tyson Fury didn't wait to give you Klitschko the way that Mayweather did. People hated Mayweather because they wanted certain fights and he made them wait. Fury went from like 18-0 straight to fucking Klitschko. Get out of here. Nobody mad at him.
They're mad at him because of what he said. They're judging him as his person.
But not to the point where where they're going to abandon him if he's fighting against an American. The whole point of putting him versus an American is to force his countrymen to side with him again. Don't you get it?
I think we're having two different conversations. I don't disagree with some of the things you're saying. I think in general that the people who love Tyson Fury will love him more. But I think that if you were one of those people that were offended by what Tyson Fury said before, it doesn't matter what he's doing. You're going to be watching him to see him lose, not be behind him.
I think that the UK boxing fans love boxing enough that if he's fighting versus an American, they're going to side with their countrymen. Let's get to some callers. We're going to 904. You're up. Who's this? You're live on TBV in the morning. 904.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Boxing Voice? What's up? How y'all doing?
What's going on, 904? Who's this? Where you calling from?
Jamar from Jacksonville. Y'all still hasn't brought me down yet?
Oh, no. There's no producer today, Jamar. He'll be off work later on. We're going to have a few more shows today, man. We're going to have a few more shows, so make sure you guys subscribe and hit that thumbs up button because we are going to be sending out some notifications. We're going to be we got a Badu Jack show and versus James DeGale preview. And we also could be doing KO of the year, 2016 knockout of the year. So, Jamar, talk to me, man. What do you think about Tyson Fury's recent headlines and the fact that he's back in training camp? He's saying he wants 3 tune-ups, then the Wilder fight.
He wants 3 tune-ups?
That is correct.
He wants 3 tune-ups?
That is correct.
Oh, wow. I don't know, man. That's kind of crazy to me. I feel like sometimes like boxing is one of them things that if you really not in it, bro, just don't come back in it. But at the same time, like everybody comes back to boxing at some point because they just feel like that's the best thing they can do. But with Tyson Fury, with the layoff, and then he just like what was it, cocaine? I think he said he was using or something like that. I think that's kind of like he's shooting himself in the foot. Like, what did you think when you heard it?
Well, immediately I said, damn, I want to see how this double standard plays out. And, like I expected. Well, obviously he's asking for 3 tune-ups and no one's calling in here fuming or cursing, saying how, this is bullshit and he shouldn't have 3 tune-ups the way that they do.
Fury is only 18-0. Like, I think the only people who we really allowed to fight at the 18 fight and then like title fight after title fight was usually people like Floyd Mayweather, who has like a good amateur background. I think he was 84-4 when he fought Gennaro Hernandez. I mean, I'm sorry, he was 18-0, but he had an 84-4 amateur right here. If you get what I'm saying.
Listen, I hear you, brother, but after you win the title and you're the undisputed heavyweight champ, you can no longer say you're a prospect.
Well, let's be honest. Although Tyson Fury has good boxing skill, he's a Neanderthal. Like, he wasn't supposed to beat Vladimir Klitschko, and then that just sounds that Vladimir Klitschko, he struggles against people who's taller than him or is not his own height.
Well, I'm sorry to say, Jamal, that is unfair of you to say because he pulled it off where so many people could not.
How is that unfair to me to say?
Because while you're right, and he probably wasn't the betting favorite, he still pulled it off, and it was wide, like it wasn't close. He didn't squeak it out.
Of course, it was. Of course, like I don't think it was because like Tyson Fury was like the better man or something like that. I feel like they both was. I feel like they both had something to prove that day. I think Vladimir Klitschko just really wanted to prove himself to the UK fans again, like once again. But at the same time, he just like it was like one of them things. Like Vladimir Klitschko should have just dominated. He shouldn't just let this guy just do all this crazy stuff. Of course, he was taller and he was. He's not like physically imposing like his other opponents, but like you think he's supposed to beat him? Like Tyson Fury's the guy to take Vladimir Klitschko's belt? Like no. And I'm not just saying that just because he's fat and all.
Well, Jamal, thanks for calling in, but man, I hear you. I'm sure there was a lot of people upset who picked Vladimir to win. But Fury did win. He upset the division, shook everything up, and now we have everything that's happening post-Fury. 404, you're up, live on TBV. Talk to us.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Chris in Atlanta. Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year, brother.
As far as Tyson Fury goes, this guy has a lot of haters, got a lot of supporters. I don't know if the haters are really, objectively watching his fights, because when I hear people say he wasn't supposed to beat Klitschko, I don't know if people watch his fights. The guy's 6'9". He can box southpaw orthodox. He's got a great jab. He's got great head movement. The guy's an amazing boxer. He doesn't have the power, but he's an amazing boxer. If you look at the negotiations prior to the Klitschko fight, they were trying to do everything to this guy. They were trying to put more padding in the ring, trying to change the gloves. Klitschko knew he was in trouble.
Yeah, they almost
once said that Fury was going to be a.
Do you remember the build-up before the fight when they were looking at the apron of the ring and they were like almost not having the fight because they alleged that they put an extra layer of padding so Fury couldn't move? Like, that was a public thing, and there was a time that we're like, shit, is this fight even going to happen? So I hear what you're saying in that regards. Fury was a 5-1 underdog, but to say that he's not expected to win doesn't give him his credit due in the craft that he provides in the ring. So I agree with what you're saying.
Absolutely. I think he beat Klitschko, who was undefeated, over 10 years. And I just think what happened was it was like nobody cared. He didn't get any credit. And I just think, this is a guy whose weight balloons up in the 300s. I think he lost motivation to train. I just think he lost motivation to do anything. He just, there's some people in this world who they just can't be PC. There's just some of us who just can't, we can't toe the line, can't say the right thing at the right time all the time. And that's Tyson Fury. If you look at his background, he just doesn't come from that type of cloth. I think Anthony Joshua fits more of that corporate type mold where he says and does the right thing at the right time. And I just think that Tyson Fury, ran into a lot of issues because of how he is and the way he behaves. So,
and Ness, they're stricter with that over there than even here. You have to understand that. They don't have the First Amendment.
Right.
They do not have the first. There is no First Amendment in the UK.
Right. I think he'd be more popular over here than over there. If he would, because of his personality. And in terms of him taking tune-ups, look, here's the difference between him and Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury doesn't have his championships anymore. I do not support champions. I don't support champions taking excessive tune-ups. Every year you got to at least fight your mandatory I mean, we look at what's going on with Errol Spence. They're just wasting away years of this young guy's career, man. This guy wants to be champion, and you got Kell Brook ducking and dodging and just wasting years off of this. You know, he wants to be champion. He doesn't want to set aside money. He doesn't want any. He wants to be champion. And if we keep allowing tune-ups and ducking from champions, the sport is not going to move forward. I mean, just imagine if this happened in any other sport where you've got NBA teams, you've got NBA champions like the Cleveland Cavaliers saying, well, you know, we don't want to play Golden State in the finals this year. You know, we'll pick and choose who we want to play. The sport doesn't move forward. You know, we need to get guys. If the champions aren't fighting the best, the sport doesn't move forward. So that's just my comment, guys. Keep it up, man. Appreciate that. I like the show.
All right, brother. Make sure you subscribe and receive those notifications because we're going to be doing a few more shows today. We're going to get to our last caller of the day, 402. You're up. Who's this?
Man, this is Lokes calling from Omaha, Nebraska.
Who?
I don't know why the hell.
Can you repeat that name, brother?
Why the hell Tyson Fury. Lokester.
Lokester?
Omaha, Nebraska. That's right, Lokester.
The home of Terrence Crawford, huh?
That's right. But I don't see why would Fury need tune-ups, like 3 tune-ups? I mean, it ain't like he's been gone from the sport because like Andre Ward's situation with the injuries or with manager problems. I mean, this dude cheated. This dude is taking drugs, selling tests, but he wants 3 tune-ups before he fight Wilder. That's fucking ridiculous, man. That's dumb as I don't get that shit. I don't get it. And I don't get it why people still let it, you know, don't say nothing about it.
Well, I mean, let me ask you a question. If it is 3 tune-ups and they don't affect your programming, essentially you're not paying attention. If that's what he has to do to get a shot at Wilder or to get in that shape, why would it matter so much to you? If it's not, you know, affecting.
Is it because there's a double standard?
Well, that's where the double standard ends.
Speak into the mic, Lokester.
What's up?
Speak into the phone because you sound very far.
Ness, that's where I'm sorry. I'll let you go back. That's where the double standard ends because how many people hated on Sean Porter for a fighter pulling out? I forgot the situation, and he did a sparring session on Facebook or whatever. Nobody. If Danny Garcia fought Sammy Vargas off TV and nobody saw it, I don't think anybody would complain about that. So that's my point.
But that's not a good point when you saying big name fighters that's on TV. We know who these people are. You know what I mean? If these guys had a fight and it wasn't on TV, people would be like, why the fuck it ain't on TV?
I hear you, but what I'm saying is I don't think a network will allow Tyson Fury to fight 3 tune-ups given his current situation. I don't think that's going to be possible. Then if they allow,
think about it like this.
Man, he put himself in that current situation. So why us as fans gotta see?
I don't disagree with that.
Watch him fight 3 bums. Watch him fight 3 bums to fight Wilder. And every time Wilder picks somebody, even though Wilder coming off of an injury, they say, why he fighting this guy? This guy ain't nobody. This guy ain't nobody. I mean, won't Tyson Fury fight some of the guys that they calling nobodies?
Would you allow him to fight 1 bum?
2 fights.
Would you just answer this before you go? Would you allow him to fight 1 bum?
He gonna fight 1 bum, man. Come on.
No, would you be okay with that? Just
cover this shit.
Would you be okay with that 1 bum?
It's gonna happen. I gotta be okay with it. I gotta be okay.
That's
with
right.
That's.
Hey, I like that he at least knows what world he lives in. You gotta be okay with it. There's nothing we can do at this point, man. These people are gonna do what they have to do when it comes to rebuilding a career like that. And I think you got it wrong, MD. I think that maybe they could strike a deal with Frank Warren, right? I mean, right now, Sky Sports and Eddie Hearn are killing the market in the UK. If they could strike up a deal to show a little bit of Tyson Fury, I think they might.
It's also a risk as well because of, maybe he gets he does poor in his next fight. I'm not saying he loses and then disappears again. Like, we don't know. So it's a big risk. You know, remember, it's a big investment because he is still relevant, because he was the lineal undisputed heavyweight champion and still hasn't been beat.
Agreed. Listen, man, we want to thank everyone, obviously, who called in to the show. Remember to subscribe right here on YouTube so you get those notifications, because we're going to be putting in some work today. Might be with MD, might be with Steven and Enrique, but definitely going to be some boxing talk around here, opening up the year. So much to talk about. We're thinking about maybe a Badou Jack versus James DeGale unification preview. We'll still do Thursday's fight week prediction show so that you could call in and get your predictions in so we can serve you that crow on Sunday, as always. But we need to preview this fight. This is unification. This is James DeGale once again not taking tune-ups in between, you know, even though some people probably had a issue with his last Boutte fight, right? Wasn't it Boutte that he fought, or was that Badou Jack that fought Boutte? Either way, their in-between fights were pretty decent.
James DeGale had a tough fight with Porky Medina.
And Badou was the one that fought Lucien Boutte,
which he won, in my opinion, but was a split decision draw, I think. I don't know.
All right. So, yeah, man, we got the Badou Jack James DeGale on deck, and we're also, I know that the public, our Patreon family definitely spoke up yesterday on Patreon in our little chat and said they want fight of the year. And KO of the year was a big one. So we'll be doing KO of the year today. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe.
And something that I don't really say in general, but Nestor sometimes is, whether you disagree with me, whether you disagree with Ness, we encourage you guys to call in, because this is a platform that everybody could speak their voice and everybody could debate one of us. And, you know, some of you guys that think that I say things that are stupid or illogical or Ness, you guys have the opportunity, because we take all callers, to make us look stupid. So you guys are encouraged to call in and have your voice heard, because thousands of people around the world will hear you attempt greatness.
That's right. You know, there's also a little thing on Patreon called Split Decision. I forgot to tell you, Bruce is going to put you in a split decision with Matthew. And I know that's your worst nightmare right there. I know you don't want to do it, so it'll be something talked about, but that's what Bruce has been telling me all yesterday.
I mean, I just don't want to cop a felony, because, you know, if somebody doesn't fight back, you know what I mean? Like, you at least like want, you know, when the cops question you, to show that there's you know, resistance. So that's why.
All right. So shout out to all our listeners, and make sure that your New Year's resolution is to share the TBV show as much as possible. Look for a way to support your favorite show. It's your off day. We're going to be giving you boxing talk all morning, all afternoon. So make sure to tune in. My name is Ness GTO. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Ness GTO, and my co-host, the good doctor, at.
You could find me at BoxingMD1 on Twitter.
All right. Later.